This is the plaintiff, Madalena. She says she purchased an apartment. The defendants were her first tenants, and when they left, her once beautiful place was a disaster. There were excessive damages, a broken window, stained carpets, and now she's out $4,246.20. So she's suing. These are the defendants, Carrie and Daniel. Carrie says this woman's nuts if she thinks they're gonna pay over $4,000 to replace the old cheap carpeting she got when they rented the place. This woman is new at landlording and doesn't understand the concept of normal wear and tear. And she already kept their $1,900 security deposit, so owe her? No way. They're accused of trashing the joint.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Madalena, you are suing Ms. Carey and Mr. Daniel, your former tenants, for $4,246.20 that you say they owe you above and beyond the $1,900 security deposit, which you've kept. Tell me what happened.
Yes, hi, Your Honor. On October 15, 2020, they moved into my property. They signed a one-year lease, and then around July, I got a phone call from management, because it's a co-op, so there's a management. So the manager called me and said their teenage daughter was walking around half naked and disturbing other tenants. So I called Carrie and asked what that was about, and she said, well, she's a teenage girl, she has some issues, and that was that. And then I got a fine for $200 a little later on for disturbing the neighbors, I don't know who. But I forwarded that to Carrie and she paid it. And then September, I asked them did they want to renew their lease. They said yes. Before I presented her the lease, I got 2 letters in the mail from management saying there had been numerous complaints from other neighbors about loud fights. And another complaint was a strong odor. It smelled of weed coming from my unit. So based on that, I decided not to renew her lease. And I called Carrie and I explained that to her. She understood that. She understood where I was coming from. So I said, so now we're in October. I think it was beginning of October. So your lease is up October 14th. So you should start to look for a new place because I'm getting all these complaints. So she said she couldn't afford to move just now. She would need some time to save up some money. So I agreed to that. I didn't give her any notice at that point. A couple of days later, she sends me a text saying that her daughter now no longer lives there. She's moved out.
How old was the daughter?
At the time, she was 16, but now she's 17.
Okay. So I didn't hear anything until March 15th, 2020.
So she just remains a month to month?
Yes.
And then in March, what do you hear?
March 15th, the manager calls me and she tells me there's police activity at my unit. The daughter is outside. She's causing...
Did the daughter move back in?
Yes.
All right. So you tell her she's got to go by when?
So I called her that day after they had called me. I said, Carrie, what's going on? She said, well, my daughter's back. And so I said, well, now you got to go because I can't.
All right, so how long did you give her?
I gave her till May 31st.
All right, and then did she get out on May 31st?
She got out, she called me about around April 7th or 8th, and she said, I found a place, I'm moving out on April 15th. So I said, okay, that doesn't really give me a lot of time to try to find a new tenant to move in there because I really don't want to lose any
Okay,
money.
but let's bring it to, you know, the damages, because that's what the case is about.
Right.
So when does she move out? What day?
April 15th.
She does move out April 15th.
April
All right.
15th, okay.
So you go in and the first time you look at the place is after she moved out?
No. The first time I asked her, would you be fine with me showing the place because I only had a week to try to find new tenants. Right. And I hadn't seen the condition of the place. So she said, yes, she would work with me, no problems. So I went over there shortly after. I had listed the place, so I showed it to I can't remember. But that's when I first saw some of the damages.
So you show it to a potential tenant.
Yes.
And what happens?
So her son let me in. They weren't there, but I had already spoken to her about coming down. She was fine with that. Her son let me in, and they just, first of all, it smelled of weed. And then I saw the walls were dirty, and I saw damage to the front door. That was the first thing I said, like someone had scratched it with some kind of object. And there was damage to the screen also. And then I couldn't really see it. Like, they had a lot of stuff in there. So immediately the clients that I had, they said they couldn't really tell. It was too dirty, and they didn't like the smell of the weed. So they left. And
Did you have a confrontation with the daughter?
No.
Did a realtor of yours have a confrontation with the daughter?
I did at a later point. The next.
Tell me about with the confrontation with the daughter.
So a couple of days later, I come in, I open the door. The son had let me in, and I open the door, and then the daughter's friend sees us and starts cussing us out and says, who the F are you? And then the daughter comes out too and says, you have no right to be here. I said, well, I'm the owner, and I already spoke to your mother, and she told me I could show the apartment. And she said, well, get out. And she started cussing at us. And I said, my client here has a little son. And she said, well, I don't care, get the F out. So I left. I went outside, I called Daniel, who said he was in the parking lot, he was in his car. And I said, Daniel, this is what just happened. He went inside, spoke to her, he came back out and said, you can go back inside and show the unit. So I went back with my clients.
Listen, these are not ideal showing conditions, are they? So you went back.
I went back with my clients. The daughter and her friend had locked themselves in the bathroom, so I could only show the living room. I couldn't even show her
How big
room.
an apartment is this?
It's a 2-bedroom.
How big an apartment is this? Square feet, do you know?
Around 1,100 maybe.
Okay.
So that was that day. So I texted Carrie. I texted her. I said I showed the unit, and these clients, they said they liked the place, but it was dirty and it smelled of weed, and they were kind of shocked of what had just happened. And they said they would like to see it after the place was repaired and cleaned
Did they
up.
end up renting it?
No.
Okay. So, Carrie, did you ever request your security deposit back?
No, never.
How come?
Because we lived there for a year and a half. It was lived in, and she was in and out of my place when it was empty beforehand. She never, it was just assumed that the $1,900 would cover for what is listed on the invoice that she gave me of the damages.
Okay.
Not to replace and
You
upgrade
didn't
her
ask,
apartment.
because I seldom does a tenant not ask for their security deposit back. I think you looked at the condition of how you were turning it over and realized there wasn't a snowball's chance in hell that you would get the security back, because it was pretty trash, guys.
The plaintiff says the defendant's daughter trashed the apartment they rented from her, and the security deposit doesn't cover all the damages, so she's suing. The defendants say the woman is trying to replace an old stained carpet with brand new wood floors for $4,000 and is taking advantage of a sad situation. Let's listen.
What happened to the place? Let's go over the pictures. That it's trashed is not in dispute. How much it's trashed, that's a fair game here. But that it's trashed, I'm like in shock at the way this was turned over. These are pictures prior to move-in, where you can see that the carpet is not in the best shape in the world. I agree, okay? How old is the carpet?
I don't know, because I had just bought it right before they moved in. So I had, before they moved in, I had it.
When you say you just bought it, you don't mean the carpet, you mean the apartment.
The apartment, yes.
Right.
So I had it shampooed and cleaned before they moved in.
Right, but you didn't have it shampooed and cleaned after they left.
No.
No, what you did was you put in vinyl flooring, and you want them to pay the $4,000 for the vinyl flooring.
Yes.
On what planet and why? If what they did was trash an old rug that's stained already, and they did trash it, because I see the spray painting that I think that's the daughter's room. What's the issue with your daughter, other than that she's 16 or something? You know, what's the issue?
I don't want to talk about that. It's
okay.
It's confidential.
But is there something more than just she's a teenager?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the dad or no?
No.
Okay. Second bedroom door. Whose door is that?
I believe that's the daughter's.
The daughter's? Okay.
Yes.
So what happened to that door?
Oh, she
Punch or kicked it?
punched it, yeah.
Okay. And this, I guess, is this the other side of the door?
Yes, that's the other side.
What happened to these walls?
Oh, that's my son's room, and that's where he sat with his desk. So he would sit there and, as kids would do, kind of lean back in his chair. And
Yeah, some grown-ups do that, too.
I'm, and it's honestly, if I had the time in my life and not working around the clock, I could have literally wiped that off with a cloth and soap.
Well, maybe you should have, though, because
Yeah, I know,
it's hard,
but-
that's a hard thing to say to somebody after they've painted, and there's a lot of other reasons to
No, I
paint
know.
too, right? Like, and what scratched everything down here?
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
Like I said, we lived there for a year and a half, we paid her on the day for a year and a half.
No, I understand, but you don't have a right to damage it. You're supposed to turn it over in the same condition you get it, okay? And she doesn't have a right to renovate on your
is it
dime.
damaged
I
or
get
lived
that.
in?
But no, wear and tear, it's all right. Wear and tear is legitimate, and you don't have to pay anything for that. You don't have to pay your security deposit for wear and tear. Wear and tear means normal use. It doesn't mean staining. And it doesn't mean they have to now paint because nobody could move in with these walls. Like, this isn't normal wear and tear. Punching your fist through a door is not
No,
normal.
yeah, I'm not- I'm
no,
just-
but also
I'm
the
just
walls
saying-
aren't. The walls aren't, and staining a carpet isn't normal wear and tear. What's wrong with, what happened to that door?
I have no idea. What happened to that door, Daniel?
Yeah, Daniel. Why are you leaving Carrie holding the bag on all this? Go ahead, Daniel.
It got destroyed.
No, I know, but how though? Like, I'm not even understanding. You know, I have doors, I have teenagers, I have people who are mad and express it. I just don't even understand how that would happen.
A lot of anger. With
Oh,
that
so
door.
so is it trying to open a
It was
lock?
someone trying to open the door, and then they broke the door off the hinge, basically.
What happened to the window?
The daughter broke it.
What happened to this front door? Because this is like deliberate.
It's my daughter, all the way,
Yeah.
everything. And the thing is, we were pressured to get out of there.
No,
It
I
was
know.
like it was more of an emergency room, like emergency move.
Well, when she gave you notice, it was what day?
I know, but when you find places, you have to like. When you rent, it's different. It's not like you have months and months to move out of one rented place
Do you
to
think
another
I've
rented
never
place.
rented? Or what
No,
do you-
I know, but
what,
I'm just
What silver
I'm
spoon do
explaining.
you think I was born with? I know, but also I know that many people then just stay up really late cleaning everything or
Right.
whatever. But I don't think this is cleanable. What was this done with? Do you know or no?
No, it's my daughter just being.
But like scratching it with something? What, go ahead, stand up. What's your name? No. I want to hear from him. Why do you have to do everything? Go ahead. What's your name?
My name is Thomas Wooding.
Okay, talk to me. Do you know how this was done?
Yeah, my wife will explain it to you.
Well, then why were you
They'll
raising your
corroborate it
hand?
Because they utilized the jackknife.
Sit down. I asked sit down.
No, he can stand right where he is. Just stay by her side. Go ahead and talk to
Yes,
me.
he actually told me what, because I asked him the day, on April 15th, I went over there for the walkthrough. I asked, Daniel was there first, Kerry wasn't there. I asked Daniel, I had a nice conversation with him. I said, what happened to my front door? He said the daughter took a jackhammer to the door, and he even had to replace the lock.
That was
Are things better now or no?
Better, but
Is she living with you?
she has to. She's a minor.
Right. No, I just didn't know if there was anybody else in the mix. What happened
Well, when we
here?
moved in, that carpet was cut like that when we moved in, which I don't even know why. To this day, I don't even know why it was a cut carpet.
Is that accurate? Was there a cut in that carpet? Yes, there was. So it was a piece of garbage carpet anyway. But where did all this spray paint come from?
She decided to spray paint her dresser.
I gather that was behind your
Black.
back.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I know you're saying that the carpet, in your opinion, was disheveled, but it was in more than decent condition when we rented the place. And you had mentioned that it was stained previously. There were no stains.
And if you notice-
whatsoever.
Just a second. Hold on one second. This is the carpet that you say is in great condition. It doesn't look like it's in great condition.
That's from the lighting, Your Honor.
Well, no, I'm not. You know, I mean,
No, it was in good condition. I had it shampooed and
okay. Why
cleaned.
didn't you shampoo it again?
No, because
This
I
time,
had-
instead of putting in $4,000 worth of flooring.
Right.
Because you guys put in $4,000 worth of flooring and you want these guys to pay for it. And your answer is, oh, because it would be more expensive to put carpeting. I mean, do you guys all think I just fell off a turnip truck?
Your Honor.
I've done carpeting. I know exactly how much less expensive. But then the one thing you present me to show that it's more expensive is a contractor's estimate where he just writes on it and says things. And that's supposed to be persuasive to me instead of an actual estimate from a carpet company who I know could do this for much less than $4,000.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The question is the plaintiff trying to get over on the defendants by charging her for brand new wooden floors. Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
I think they should be at least responsible for some of it.
Yes, I do too. I just don't, but that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is suing for $4,000.
But there was also a strong odor of weed, Your Honor.
Honestly, the weed odor goes away. We all know that. That's, I mean, I know that. The weed odor goes away. It's not like it stays forever. It's not cat urine. Some things stay, some things go. So what kind of flooring is this that you put in?
That's vinyl flooring.
Yeah. But made to look like that kind of vinyl flooring that looks like wood.
So the contractor said that's cheaper than carpet.
All right, that's fine, except for that I have to be persuaded of it. And the contractor is a contractor. They're just writing there what it costs. I'm sorry, but no. What you're entitled to is the depreciated value of an old carpet that they've further ruined. Or ruined. Let's go with you. Ruined. Let's say that they ruined it and it was pristine before that, all right? What you're entitled to is the depreciated value of that. That means if it's a 20-year-old carpet, it's worth this. It's not worth $4,000 new vinyl flooring. It's not a bonanza. This court is meant to put you in the position you were in before the bad thing happened. That the bad thing happened, no question. This was returned to you in a very different condition than you handed it to them. It's insulting. I get it. But that also, I have to sit here and actually figure out what you're out. Not, you do renovations and they got to pay for all of it. It costs you $320.44 to replace the bedroom window?
Yes.
$300 to replace the 2 bedroom doors, $1,250 to paint. All that is very legitimate. I'm going to add $500 for whatever depreciation for the carpet that we have no idea how old it is. I am ruling that you are entitled to keep the security deposit, of course, and ordering them to pay an additional $470.44 to you in damages. That is my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails in this case, but she certainly doesn't get anything near what she was seeking. She was suing for more than $4,000. She gets it a little over $400. Let's see what the defendants have to say about this. Folks, let me ask you what you feel about the judge's decision.
It's a good decision.
She's a very fair judge. Because there was damage. There was damage.
There was a lot of damage.
Yes.
The judge said it was actually insulting. It was in that bad a shape. It should make you feel terrible,
I've had terrible things happen in my life.
All right, well, that's the judge's verdict. Thank you very much. Good luck to you. All right, so the plaintiff won, but she got very little compared to what she was asking. Let's see what she's feeling right now. Mandalina, what's your reaction to the case? Do you think you made a very poor decision in renting the apartment to those folks?
I mean, they look good on paper. They were actually nice people. It's unfortunate. I didn't know anything about the teenage daughter and any issues. I wish them well.
I just hope that she gets the help that she definitely needs to be a productive member of society.
Yeah. I wish them well.
She definitely needs a lot of help.
So have you re-rented the apartment now?
I have, yes. To a very lovely woman.
And to a very lovely woman. Well, hopefully it'll work out much better with her than the previous tenants. All right, congratulations. Okay, that was an interesting case. Harvey, what are your thoughts?
So, Doug, one of the great unfairnesses of the law, I think, is that when somebody damages your property, you are not entitled to replacement cost. You're entitled to the depreciated value at the time of the loss. So in this case, the plaintiff's going to get $500. The thing is, it may cost a lot more than that to replace the carpeting, needs to be replaced, but the plaintiff's going to have to ante up the difference. That is simply the way the law works.
I live on a narrow street and large trucks struck my mailbox. I didn't see it. I did hear it and I notified police the same day. Is it worth going to court over the $200 it's going to cost me to fix the mailbox?
Well, going to court against who? How are you going to, if you didn't see it, how are you going to prove that a particular truck did it?
They heard it.
Yeah, but
circumstantial evidence.
What?
I heard it. I turned around and I saw
truck?
that truck. I saw that truck nearby pulling away.
Okay,
You know,
so
you
let's
might be able
assume,
to close the circuit.
Right. So I heard it. I went to the window. 2 seconds later, I see that truck that belongs to that neighbor.
Yeah, you might convince a judge or
possibly.
Or a jury.
So is it worth going? You know, small claims is never about the money, as we know.
Seldom
it's about
the money,
the
right.
principle.
Right.
So it just depends on how angry you are, and if this is behavior that you've seen a lot. If this is neighbors that you like very much and an accident, if it really annoys you that they left the scene. So, you know, is it worth it? That depends. Some jurisdictions have a filing fee that's even more than the $200, which kind of chills you from going to court.
Right, because at the end of the day, even if you get a judgment, you don't know that you're going to collect that judgment because the person could be a deadbeat or maybe they just don't have the money. Maybe they're destitute. One of those people who comes to court with wearing a barrel with a couple belts on their
You know
shirt.
how that's always happening.
Yeah, you know, that sort of thing. And then you get a judgment. And
60s cartoons. You are stuck in 60s cartoons.
Exactly. So you're stuck then with a judgment, and you've already burned the $200 on the busted mailbox plus the $250 filing fee,
and then
the time, the aggravation.
Right. So it depends on your individual circumstances and your level of anger.
Exactly.
If you're able to let it go and you know, and you just figure, well, I didn't see it, you're probably in a happier place.
Or send an email to the company if you can figure out who they are, or the person, who he or she is, and just say, hey, you know, how
did
about
this happen?
How about a little something,
for the effort?
Right? Take care of my mailbox. But you never know. You might get lucky.